Comic fam, we have more hot comics to discuss, and congratulations to last week's winner. What's good, comic fam? We have more hot comics to discuss at the table with Jem from Jem and Collectibles because they are too caliente this week.
What's going on, Tom? What's up to the comic fam? You know, a lot of times people hit me up and ask, why didn't so-and-so book make the Hot 10 list? And that's because Key Collector only puts the books that have 3 record-breaking sales in different grades. So what happens with those big banger sales that just have that one outlier? They make it here to the honorable mention. So the book you're talking about is probably on this list.
Hit that like, slap that subscribe button. As many as 35% of our audience, Jem, have yet subscribed to our channel who are watching to this very video. We need your support and you don't want to miss out. Also, we're going to be reporting on these 10 comics in order based off of their percentage increased based off of their last high sale.
That's right, and we're going to kick this list off at number 10 with Amazing Spider-Man 14, the first appearance of the Green Goblin.
This is also the first time the Green Brute, the Hulk, battles our web slinger. It's even on the cover. We have some major price gains as members expect Green Goblin to appear in the upcoming Spider-Man movie.
Not only that, Norman Osborn is primed to be such a great big bad villain for the MCU moving forward. We have a CGC 4.5 which sold for
$2,500
back in April, up 44%, now selling for $3,600.
Before we move on to number 9, I want to showcase the variant of this issue. What? From 1964? There's a variant? Yes, it came out in 2014. It was a C2E2 exclusive, cover art done by Scotty Young. It hits about $55 average high sales and is indeed a reprinting of this very key comic book. Now at number 9, one of my all-time favorite comic stories, artists, comics, The Crow #1.
That's right, it's the second appearance of the Crow, but the first miniseries, and it has 3 printings. You got to be careful because they look identical. The only way you can tell the difference is by the date printed on the inside. But Tom, we have a CGC 8.0, which sold for $600 back in February, up 50%, now selling for $900.
And since you brought it up, Jem, it's also worth mentioning that the second and third print copies are certainly ones to spec on. We know the trajectory of what happened with the early printings of TMNT, and with issue 1's first print skyrocketing as much as it has, I think a $230 high average sale for the second print, as well as a $200 average high sale for the third print, are looking more attractive by the day.
And moving on over to number 7 on the list, one of Very Gary's favorite, DC Comics presents issue 47, the first appearance of He-Man and Skeletor in comic books.
Don't be talking about Very Gary on the mic. I can't stand that guy. I'm just kidding. I love Very Gary. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. He does great content for our community. But we're talking about the first appearance of He-Man, and with Kevin Smith attached to a Netflix adaptation that's going to continue the narrative from the 80s cartoon. With respect to the visuals, there's going to be a new Mattel toy line released. This book has hit all new heights. It's actually up 400% in copies sold since the still shots have been released, teasing the upcoming Kevin Smith animation. This one right here at a 9.4 had its record shattered this week, going for $480 just this past April. This week selling an increase of 51% for $725. Next on the list, we got Fantastic Four 48 to talk about.
And reaching all new heights as well. Coming in at number 7 on the list, it seems like the holy trilogy of Marvel Cosmic all seem to be breaking records every single week, and the first appearance of Silver Surfer with the first cameo of Galactus is no exception. A CGC 2.0, a measly 2.0, sold for $1,350 back in 2019. It's up 56%, now selling for $2,100.
We were chatting about issue 50 last week on the Hot 10 list. I mean, comic fam, when members are frolicking to that brown cover, you know that Silver Surfer spec is at an all-time high. Looking at number 6 on the list, we have our yellow-suited Daredevil to talk about. Daredevil #1. We're seeing the first appearance of Foggy Nelson, Karen Page, and Matt Murdock making this list after multiple price hikes for higher grade issues keep landing month over month. And Truth be told, the lower grade copies are starting to do that too because of the price correction. 1.5 is going for $1,700 in December, is up 59% this very week, now selling for an all-new high of $2,700. We told the comic fam that this blue chip book was prime for speccing on well before these December heights were met. And we're talking about an increase of 59% for an entry-level copy. You got to slap that subscribe button, comic fam.
You know we champion this book as being undervalued when we compared it to other Marvel blue chip keys of the same era, and now it's finally living up to the hype. Moving on over to number 5, we have Eternals #1, breaking records as well.
Yo, Jim, you mentioned it on the last Hot 10, and after rewatching it a handful of times, I think my excitement was definitely decreased in the rewatching of the trailer because they really didn't show us much. I mean, we saw some beautiful visuals. I'm excited to see a narrative that takes place across multiple timelines, it appears. I mean, heck, Kit Harington being on screen for the first time, although not in the armor, has still got me hyped to no end. But man, I want to see more.
Yeah, we need to really make good on Jack Kirby's vision, and it was just a teaser, so, maybe it wasn't supposed to give us too much, just like you said, some nice visuals, but I definitely wanted some more.
Well, considering that Eternals #1 at a 9.8 is about to clear $4,000, I think recent highs put it just below at $3,800. The 9.6 is starting to catch up.
That's right, the 9.6 sold for $1,020 back in March. It's up 62%, now selling for $1,653. Also, there is a 30-cent price variant out there, which is selling for highs of $725 for a high-grade raw copy.
At the list at number 4, we chat in Fantastic Four, issue number 4, first appearance of the Submariner in the Silver Age. This book has priced itself out and gone for quite some time, pushing Submariner 1 onto our hot list last week, which is his second solo series, because this book has gotten so damn hot and expensive. We're looking at a 9.0 this week. Back in 2019, hitting $8,700. Jem, hit him with the record.
It's up 78% from that 2019 sale, now selling for $15,500. We know Namor is coming. I just wanted to see him clash with Black Panther so bad. I really am interested to see how they do that in the MCU.
Such a wonderful history between this character and the Fantastic Four as well. I'll remind the fam, this is the first time that Johnny Storm used the words flame on to activate his powers. Now, I got to remind the community to download Key Collector Comics, utilize the code TOM101 to unlock a free 2-week subscription, and get access to a wealth of comic book data, because this next book has been hitting all new heights week over week. And I'm talking above 2K for a 9.8, which has price adjusted the lower grade copies, making it on our honorable mentions list this week. We're talking about X-Men 130, the first appearance of Dazzler.
The first mutant pop star, one of the key members in the Konami X-Men beat-em-up game, who can often be seen doing live performances on Krakoa. We're talking about Dazzler and her CGC 9.4 record-breaking sale. That book sold for $400 back in April, and it's up 80%, now selling for $720.
Considering Kitty Pryde's first appearance has skyrocketed, this is her second appearance worth specking on. It's also the second appearance of Emma Frost, the White Queen. Jem, I feel like we haven't really been talking about DC Comics for quite a long time.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that, because when I used to buy and sell key issue comics, it was always much harder to get rid of DC books compared to Marvel keys, except for this book. Detective Comics 359, the first appearance of Batgirl, was always a hot book.
We're talking about Barbara Gordon, comic fam, and considering the May announcement that the WB has directors attached, the guys who did Bad Boys for Life going to be creating the Batgirl movie, it's got multiple eyes on this hero. Let's take a look at the prior record, because we're seeing an increase of copies sold of 140% this week.
With a huge percentage increase for a CGC 3.5. This book sold for $500 in February. It's more than doubled, with a 105% increase, bringing in that new record-breaking sale of $1,025.
Comic fam, we're at the list at number 1, the comic book that almost made it on our Hot 10 Comics list this week. Slap the subscribe, hit the like. We're going to announce a giveaway at the end. Let's chat about another major milestone event in X-Men history. We're talking X-Men #9, the first meetup the battle between the Avengers and the mutants.
That's right. If we get AVX on screen, there's going to be a couple of hotkeys to look after, this being one of them. The Silver Age appearance of the X-Men vs. the Avengers, a CGC 2.5, sold for only $140 back in August. It's up 168%, now selling for $375.
Comic fam, you gotta peep the Hot 10 list because number 1 was another major mutant event key book that we had yet talked about on the mic to date that you gotta know. So many mutant keys are spiking. Let me know what you think about this list in the comment section below. It'll enter you to win a copy of Maxwell Prince Goodness, Haha Issue 3, the Zoe Lucky variant. Trade dress version. We appreciate your time today, and as always,
Geek responsibly and stay minty fresh.
enough said.